The Canso Causeway celebrated the 65th anniversary of its official opening this past week on August the 13th. Now, on August 13th, 1955, over 100 bagpipers made the trek across the causeway from Port Hastings to Ald's Cove to help celebrate the launch of the new link between Cape Breton Island and mainland Nova Scotia. However, there was a very different march across the causeway just a few nights ago on Sunday, August the 16th, to mark a very, very dark period in Canada's history. When the Canso Causeway celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2005, some Mi'kmaq leaders chose not to take part. They stated at the time that they didn't feel it was right to participate, given that Mi'kmaq leaders were not consulted about the construction of the link between mainland Nova Scotia and Cape Breton Island in the early 1950s. Efforts have been made to remedy this situation in recent years. In early 2019, the mayor of Port Hawkesbury, Brenda Chisholm-Beaton, launched a campaign to have Unama'ki, which of course is the Mi'kmaq word for Cape Breton Island, included in the signage that welcomes people from mainland Nova Scotia to Cape Breton. And on Sunday evening, August the 16th, many Mi'kmaq and Mi'kmaq supporters took to the Canso Causeway to state their case for missing and murdered Indigenous women across Canada and here in the Maritimes.
Every day is a good day to do this because it's up to us to stand up for our nation of Indigenous people, not just the women, but the men and boys as well. So any day and every day would be a good day to stand up for justice.
These words from Annie Bernard Daisley, a band counselor from Waikoba First Nation, found a home in the hearts of an estimated 60 people from across Cape Breton's Indigenous communities that joined with her on the Port Hastings side of the Canso Causeway on Sunday evening. The protest march was designed to draw attention to the cases of murdered and missing Indigenous women across Canada. It's an issue that hits home for Bernard Daisley. Her cousin, Cassidy Bernard, was found dead in her home in October 2018. 14 months later, RCMP laid second-degree murder charges against Wagmacook resident Dwight Isidore, Bernard's ex-boyfriend, in connection with Bernard's death in Waikoba, which occurred in full view of the young woman's twin daughters, who at the time were 5 months old. However, on this Sunday evening, as they make their way from Port Hastings to Ald's Cove, flying yellow banners, burning sweetgrass, and singing traditional Indigenous songs, these protesters don't just have Cassidy Bernard in mind. This protest was sparked in part by the death of Chantel Moore, who was shot by RCMP during what was described as a wellness check in northern New Brunswick on June the 4th. Only 8 days later, another member of New Brunswick's Indigenous community, Rodney Levi, was shot by RCMP. The New Brunswick government has called for coroner's reports into the deaths of Moore and Levi, but in the meantime, a national call to action with regards to the death of Moore, originally from British Columbia and living temporarily in New Brunswick at the time of her death, had sparked local residents to get together on the Canso Causeway on the evening of August the 16th to draw attention to the growing concern about what is happening to Indigenous women across the country.
They had called for a national day from coast to coast to honor Chantel and to do a peaceful demonstration across the nation, and today was the day that they had picked. We've done so many different things for Cassidy, and we said as a family, as one big family unit, that we weren't going to stop, that we were going to keep continuing to fight for justice for our Indigenous men and women and our girls and boys, and our two-spirited as well.
Chantel Moore's spirit was especially felt during the tail end of the protest, when Moore's mother, Martha Martin, phoned Bernard Daisley's cell and delivered both thanks and encouragement to all those gathered around.
I know she felt a lot of support. She's just texted me, and she felt honored, and that we're standing up for her daughter and everyone else in this nation that's been missing. We're standing up for justice for Chantel, and that her death was wrong and it was murder, and the man is back to work. That's ridiculous. If he had killed a dog in that same manner, he killed Chantel, he'd still be off of work.
The August 16 protest came at a time of heightened concern for a Mi'kmaq teenager that had disappeared from the community of Waikoba First Nation in the previous days. 14-year-old Waikoba resident Molly Martin, also known as Mary Martin, was found safely in the early morning hours of Saturday, August the 22nd, roughly 9 days after she had disappeared from Wakapa in the company of a white male in his late 40s. That white male has been taken into custody, while Martin was taken into custody but then released. Nova Scotia RCMP released an emergency alert regarding Martin's disappearance just after midnight on Thursday, August the 20th. However, RCMP officials repeatedly stated that Martin's case does not fit the criteria for an Amber Alert because she went willingly with the white male. Wakapa First Nations Chief Rod Gugu, speaking during the rally in Ald's Cove that completed the Canso Causeway protest, vehemently disagreed.
Micmac family allowed a non-native to take that child out of our community against our wishes, against the wishes of Chief and Council.
And despite the attendance of nearly 6 people from across Cape Breton Island at Sunday's protest on the Canso Causeway, Chief Gugu had another question he wanted answered. Mainly, why were there only about 6 men taking part?
Just because they're native children, nobody cares. Just because our women are native women, nobody cares. Well, we do, where I come from.
However, Annie Bernard Daisley, who sits with Chief Gugu on Wakapa First Nation Band Council, had an upbeat response to the concept of a low number of male participants in the Canso Causeway rally.
I guess everybody has a different opinion. I can understand his point where really it's the women that stand up. The women are the matriarchs typically in our nation as Mi'kmaq, and even across this land the women are matriarchs. So it's not uncommon for having women to stand up for inequality and for the injustices that we face. It would have been nice to see more men, but however, in saying that, the women that were here are powerful and the men that were here were just as powerful. So, it is what it is.
The evening also proved powerful for Tricia Johnson of Eskasoni. Since 2001, she has been waging a battle to find out more information about the death of her sister Cheryl Ann Johnson. Cheryl Ann was just 23 when her body was found in Sydney. Police closed the case 2 days later. In 2017, Tricia Johnson testified before the National Inquiry on Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women when it came to Cape Breton Island. She says events like the Canso Causeway protest of August 16th give her the courage to keep up her fight.
They're all hidden close to home, like all these cases. Like I know Cassidy's mom, like we're good friends. Even Chantel Moore, like I couldn't believe, like why wouldn't you shoot her in the leg? Why shoot her so many times? Why? She was tiny, she's a woman. You don't need that kind of force against anyone. So I'd like to see a total ban on guns on any reservation, because I'm scared to talk to cops. I'm scared to, ask for help. It's too much that I have to be scared to ask for help.
While traffic was blocked on both ends of the Canso Causeway for the first hour of Sunday night's event, most motorists greeted the protesters with a chorus of car horns. However, Annie Bernard Daisley feels that a more profound impact would have been made if drivers had actually stopped and joined the protest.
It's easy to go by and honk your horns, but come on and stand with us. If you're sitting in your car for a couple hours, come and stand with us, It's not an inconvenience. It's not about inconvenience the public or anybody else would stop on the roads. It's about shining awareness and shining the light on the situation in this nation because it is wrong. And it's sad as a nation that we still have to stand up on the road and promote and create awareness for what's happening in this country. It's just not fair. And you treat people with human decency. Canada isn't treating us with human decency, that's for sure.
However, as Mi'kmaq music filled the air, cars started flowing again through the Canso Causeway, and the last round of protesters greeted them with signs and flags in Ald's Cove. Organizers for the Canso Causeway protest rally were happy with the turnout and pleased with the impact they've made so far.
I know it was such short notice. I didn't know if I'd be standing here alone or if I'd be standing here with 20 or 30 or 100 people. I had no idea. To me, this was a perfect and everything. My philosophy is everything that happens is meant to be. Nobody stands alone. Nobody stands alone. Everybody stands together.
At the Canso Causeway for Telile 24/7, I'm Adam Cooke.